Welcome back to Bravo Breaking News with Kim and Lisa. On this week's Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, we actually set the drama aside for once to dive into Sutton's past and unpack a lot of trauma on their trip back to Augusta.
Yeah, Sutton really let us into her life in this episode. We got a lot more details about her relationship with Reba, about her dad, and we found out that Reba is actually a therapist, guys. Who would have thought? There's a lot to digest, but I think I definitely am seeing Sutton in a new light now, and I'm curious to hear what you think.
I couldn't agree more. I think this episode explained a lot. We also got an interesting update from Dorit and PK and dive into Bose's personal story a little bit more as well. We're going to dive into it all. But before we do, I just wanted to give a little bit of a shout out to this new series that I'm launching each week called Unpopular Opinions. In case you guys missed it, every Monday I'm going to drop an episode where I kind of go over the big Bravo news of the week and give my opinions on it all. So make sure you are subscribed and tune into that each week. We are also here every Wednesday to cover Beverly Hills, of course, but it's just like a little additional weekly Bravo for you.
A little treat for a Monday, you know? Make sure you guys listen because the first episode, Kim talks about Paige and Craig, and I think you might be surprised as to what she has to say.
That's why it's called Unpopular Opinions, because I have a lot of them, especially when it comes to that. So tune into that. But let's dive into this very, very emotional episode. Like, grab your tissues, guys, because this was intense.
It was definitely not our typical Housewives episode, and it's not what we've been seeing so far this season on Beverly Hills. We're focused a lot on Sutton. We are waking up in Augusta, and Kyle and Reba are kind of bonding in the kitchen. Kyle, I guess, was someone that Reba felt comfortable opening up with because Reba told her, I'm not a natural nurturer. And they just kind of got on like really easily. Then Avi comes down the stairs, and you could tell that Avi does not get along very easily with Reba because they are like constantly sort of clashing. And I just had to keep thinking of Avi must be saying in his head, I love my job. I love my job. When Reba's like, oh, I don't like that ice. Oh, why would you do that? Oh, how long has that been in the oven for? Don't take it out. It's going to be dry. We don't want dry grits. And he's just like, that's why I'm asking you. Like, oh, and then it killed me when they showed the parallel between Sutton and Avi. I need white pants, but I can't find the white pants. And he goes in the closet and like pulls them out. Like it's too good.
Apple tree. Like Garcelle said it
Yeah.
best. This is Sutton to a T. I also loved when Avi's like, don't you want to go and get ready, get dressed for brunch? She's like, I am dressed. What are you talking about? I don't need to go get dressed. I am dressed. No, I don't want to get dressed. I am dressed. It's like, whoa. Like, I guess she's just going to wear her house clothes, which is perfectly fine, but not for Avi or Sutton. It's like they are the same person, but living two completely different lifestyles.
Totally. But I mean, that was kind of a misstep on Avi's part. Like, you don't ask a woman, like, oh, are you going to go get changed? Are you going to go get ready now? And it's like, no, I'm ready, honey. Like, it's not like she was in her pajamas. And then Sutton came down in a little shirt with white shorts. Garcelle was in a little white skirt or something. Like, it's not like they were all super dressed up and then Reba was going to be out of place. So I will say I'm on Team Reba for that one, but it's, just awkward all around with those interactions with Avi.
Totally. And then it is revealed, to my surprise, that Reba is a therapist. For one, she is 82 years old and still working, which I just have to say, I'm not near 82, but I know for a fact I will no longer be working at 82. I'll tell you that right now. But this woman who seems to not know how to show empathy or have trouble, I don't know, relationship troubles with her family, obviously with Sutton, is a therapist. helping people also navigate through issues with their families and all this stuff. This was just like kind of a startling revelation to me that I did not see coming. How do you feel about this?
I don't think any of us saw that coming, truly. But I guess what they say, like those who can't do teach. But
Okay, I like
you
that.
must be one of those like tough love therapists, like no nonsense, just like, oh, that makes you feel bad? Well, suck it up.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. I mean, maybe she could really whip me into shape, you know? Like, I guess there is a way of seeing it where, like, maybe you do need somebody like that who isn't going to kind of like uh just bow down to you or kind of get all emotional and stuff. She's going to look at things through a very like straight lens.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, why are we spending all these time talking about feelings? You know what? Feelings, they come and go, and you just got to get through it and just soldier on.
yeah, and death is final. That's like one of her things that she tells Garcelle. Of course, we get the scene of her and Garcelle going outside, and Garcelle is ready to give it to Reba because obviously she's Sutton's best friend. She's been hearing a lot from Sutton how she feels underappreciated, doesn't feel loved. So she decides to tell this to Reba. And I have to say, I was scared for Garcelle in this moment. I did not know how Reba was going to handle this, how she was going to react. Garcelle's basically like, she needs you to tell her how much you love her and how proud of you are. And she's like, well, I don't think that's any of your business. And I kind of agree with her in that way. But she wasn't even really saying it to be mean. They were kind of bonding in this moment. Like Garcelle really opened up to her almost as if she was a therapist, saying, I lost my mom. There were things I wish I would have said to her and she would have said to me. So I kind of thought this moment was good. And although I'm not sure Reba really showed us that she was taking it in, I think she might have taken what Garcelle was saying to heart.
I mean, who knows? But I will say, I think Garcelle approached this like in the best way possible. I don't think she came across as accusatory. I don't think she was shaming her. I think she was just like, look, I adore your daughter. And I just, I feel like she kind of needs this from you. And even when Reba kind of started getting a little defensive with, I don't think that's any of your business, Garcelle still found sort of a common thread in saying, like, well, I lost my mother and I just know that I wish like I had done this and this. And there were things I wish I could have said. And I don't know. Props to Garcelle for this moment because she went in with no fear. And I think if anything, like you got to respect that. You know what I mean? Like, even if you don't like what the person's saying, you got to respect that they are there on behalf of your child because they consider them to be such a good friend. Like, you can only hope that your kids have friends who love them that much.
Totally, totally. And I think Reba, although she's a little bit like set in her ways, I think she realized this. But we're going to get more from Sutton. But first, we got some updates about Bose, which I need to hear your thoughts because this whole like Bose Keeley kid thing, I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't know how I feel about it either. But look, Bose is a very smart woman. She, can do whatever she wants. But I think like some people can be really smart when it comes to business and not so smart when it comes to matters of the heart. And I'm a little concerned that she's falling into this category. Now, her daughter seems so like mature, wise. She's beautiful, obviously, and seems like she has a great head on her shoulders. And I was just like blown away when Bose basically said, look, if I want to have a baby with Mr. Keeley, I need to do it really soon. How would you feel about that? And the daughter was basically like, yeah, I like that for you because I'm going to be leaving soon and I don't want you to be bored. I like if my mom tried to have that conversation with me when I was 15. I mean, granted, my parents are still together, but if I was her in that scenario, I probably would have lost my shit and be like, what do you mean you're going to have another baby? A, be with this man who you haven't even known for a year. You guys don't live together. Like, what? No. So I was just like blown away by how her daughter handled all of that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I hope I have a daughter like that one day. I think at this age, what is she, 15? I think she gets it. I think she also understands what her mom has been through, like losing. Was it her dad that passed away, or was it one of Bose's ex-husbands? It's unclear to me.
I think it was Lael's dad.
Okay. So they both suffered a lot
Right.
of loss and have like a pretty traumatic past of what they've been through. So I think at this point, she just wants her mom to be happy. And if this is what her mom wants, it looks like she's supporting her. So I love to see that. I love to see it, though I'm not sure the women are as supportive of this. We'll get to that dinner in a second. But let's pop back to Augusta because we get this scene where the women visit Sutton's childhood home. Again, it's very, very dark, though I am very surprised that these people agreed to film in their home. They invited people into their home, which is a beautiful home, by the way. It looks like it was like professionally decorated. But they were so welcoming to these women to come in and film and talk about Sutton's past growing up there. Obviously, she shares that her father committed suicide there. It was the last place she saw her father. She kind of, talks to us about those final moments, that final night. It was very, very emotional. I also wonder if the people living there know what happened there.
That part.
Yeah,
That's my mistake.
like they sure know now. But did they know before?
I don't know, because you hear that like there's laws in some places where it has to be disclosed if someone dies in the property or in the house, like, within the last 5 years or something like that. I don't know the laws, and they're probably different everywhere, but I don't know. But yeah, they for sure are aware of that now.
Yeah, I don't know. It was very, very emotional. And, she opened up a lot, right? This entire episode, obviously with Reba, but also about her dad. Like she was kind of a daddy's girl. She was very, very close to him. And she shares that it was kind of like a slow progression. Like, he started to kind of get into things, maybe he was depressed, and then he started, using drugs to deal with that depression. And then he started relying more on alcohol. And it was kind of this slow progression that she had to deal with like throughout her prime years, like in high school, and throughout her early 20s. So I can't imagine going through something like that. I imagine it has to be really, really tough. And then to have to go through something like that, and then to come out the other side with your only living, parent not having a good relationship with them, and kind of there being some sort of resentment over the fact of the death of your father. And she shares that her mom was at home when it happened, so that's why she might feel that way. Like, it kind of does really explain why Sutton, because let's be real, the trauma that happens in our past really shapes who we are as a person. And it does kind of explain why Sutton can maybe be a little odd at times or react certain ways to certain things. I'm not a therapist, I don't know specifics, but surely it's impacted her in the way she moves through life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it really broke my heart when she was talking about the last time that she saw him, and how, normally he holds out his hand and she would kind of like grasp his hand on her way out, and he didn't do that. And so she kind of just like grabbed his foot or his toe, and she says that she like blames herself for not taking 5 minutes to sit down with him at that time and be like, "Dad, is everything okay?" And instead she just left. And I felt so badly for her in this moment, because I think blame is something that like we all do, even if it's not rational. Because the reality is, like, he had been suffering for a long time. And even if she had sat down for 5 minutes, maybe it would have changed that, maybe he wouldn't have done that the next day, but like probably would have happened at some point. It wasn't her fault that he decided to take his own life. And it, I hate that she carries that around with her. I really do, because like truly that wouldn't have changed the outcome.
Yeah, I know. But when you go through something like this, I feel like you can't help but be like, what if? What
Right.
if I did this? What if I said this?
Right.
Like you can't help but kind of go back and revisit the past. So, gosh, I really, really feel for Sutton. And I don't know. It does kind of excuse her behavior a little bit, excuse the way she deals with some of the issues with the women. I don't know. I mean, she had a very traumatic childhood, and then to go through this really major divorce. She's not on good terms with her ex anymore. I don't know. She's really, really been through a lot. And we have this kind of mentality or saying on Housewives, like, be open and honest, share your life with us. And if this isn't showing every single part of Sutton's life, then I don't know what is. Like,
Yeah.
nobody in the history of Beverly Hills can ever give Sutton that line anymore. Like, you're not being honest, you're not being open about your life, because this is probably the most open we've seen somebody be in a very long time.
Yeah, I completely agree. Um, okay, so let's pop back over to this dinner with Erica, Bose, and Dorit. Sort of the new trio, if you will, because last week they were at Kathy's house having dinner, and now it's the three of them again going out to dinner. And Bose is kind of taking center stage, and I'm into it. And she basically tells them, look, guys, so things are kind of progressing like quickly with my boyfriend. We're talking about having a baby together, but we have not said I love you. And Dorit and Erica, were all of us like, oh, come again? What? And she just, she's trying to explain, like, I know he loves me, but he just hasn't said it. And I'm like, girl, but then why have a child with him? I don't know. My spidey senses are up. I don't like this for her. I feel like if her age were not a factor, she would not be anywhere near, ready to have a child with this person. And I just, I don't know. I really hope that if she chooses to move forward with this and like have another child, I hope that it's for her and not just to please him, because he's never been married and never had a kid. Um, and she kind of, wants to give him that. Where are you at with Keely?
That's a solid point. I didn't think about it that way. I mean, they've only been together for 8 months, which is
Yeah.
like not that long of a time. I don't know. I can't decide whether it's a long time or not. I don't really think it's a long time. I certainly don't think it's like long enough to maybe talk about that, especially if you haven't said, I love you. I don't know. I agree. I think her age is definitely a factor. Um, I don't know, but the scenes that we have seen him in, I don't mind him. I think he seems genuine. He seems to like her and enjoy her. Uh,
Yeah. I will
you're not
wait.
getting that?
No, I do think yes. But I also am a little bit bothered by the thing that she shared where he flew to Ghana to like surprise her while she was on a trip with her daughter. I think that's weird. Like, you haven't met her daughter yet. Bose had not explained to her daughter that she was dating someone. And then you're going to show up and one, interrupt my trip. That's like my personal time with her. And two, now I have to like basically introduce you, and it's awkward. And like I hadn't primed her for it and done it on my terms. I don't know. There's little things that I think are just don't sit right with me.
Okay, no, that's another good point. I'm seeing the benefit of the doubt, in my head, it's like, oh, they're in their honeymoon phase. And as someone who doesn't have kids, maybe he didn't really understand, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't go interrupt this mom-daughter trip. Like,
Yeah.
like he's excited about this. Like, maybe I should go surprise her, like kind of, I don't know, court her in that way. I don't know. It could go either way at this point.
Yeah.
But I certainly hope that they don't choose to have kids before, I don't know, things get serious. But maybe, hey, that I don't know. To each their own. Lala is obviously had a second child without a man. So you can definitely raise a kid without a man. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I hope that she and Keely like are on the same page before they make these like big decisions like this together. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So speaking of the same page, it kind of seems like, according to Dorit, her and PK are now on the same page, but the women are not buying it whatsoever, and neither am I. So at this dinner, she also spills that she had a conversation with PK after their declaration to go to war against each other during the last episode. And she basically asked him, like, slow down. We need to communicate. Don't send me this email with all of these threats. Apparently he agreed to that and is kind of like, talking to her like a friend on the phone. And Bose and Erica are immediately like, no, 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 girl.
No.
This is an act. PK is ruthless. He's ruthless in business. He's ruthless in life. And he's going to be ruthless when it comes to this divorce. And it seems like Dorit, like the second he kind of swung the other way, she melted back into his arms and is like kind of doing whatever he says again. And they are throwing warning signs everywhere to not fall for this. And I'm afraid she's falling for it.
I know. I think it'd be really hard not to. Like, I see why she's falling for it, because she wants to believe that like there's still good in him. And she wants to believe that she was not married to a man who would just throw everything away like that and throw her to the wayside. And I get that. But I also think that there's probably some truth to what Erica and Bose are saying. And like, this is an act. Like, he wants to put you in your place and then like keep you there. And he's going to do whatever it takes to do that, including, playing nice, quote unquote. And it's like, he wants to do this, that he can call the shots, and he wants to like be in control. And I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I think this is a tough one.
Yeah, I need an update on this. We haven't had Dorit on Watch What Happens Live in a while. I think they're getting ready to film the Beverly Hills reunion soon. I hope we don't have to wait for then to hear an update on this divorce, because I need to know what's happening. Like, are they on good terms? Are they not on good terms? Like, I need to know.
And have we hit the 10-year mark?
I think it's coming up. It's coming up soon, but that may not matter because he filed for separation before that time period. So I don't know. There are a lot of moving parts and a lot of, timeline here that is very relevant to the situation, and we need to be updated.
Yeah. Dorit, where are you at? We've had Kyle on Watch What Happens Live like 2 or 3 times already.
I know. We need an update from Dorit. I wonder, is PK going to show up at the reunion? Probably not, but I kind of would like to hear from him too.
Okay, so let's go back over to Augusta for the last time. Sutton's making crab cakes for dinner, and she is annoyed because she doesn't have the right ingredients. She needs iceberg lettuce. Okay, listen, I've had a few crab cakes in my time. Why does she need iceberg lettuce? Why is that such an important ingredient? Or is that just for the salad, but like you have to have a specific salad to go with crab cakes? I don't know.
Maybe it wasn't salad, because Reba made a point to say, ooh, the salad is delicious.
You're right. So maybe it's like that's what Reba likes. That she's a very, very particular woman. And, Avi, she just has no chill. So she is kind of getting the courage up to have a conversation with her mom. And you can tell that, like, she's kind of nervous. And she brings her mom into the dining room where she's laid out her capsule collection for her Sutton green line. And she's trying to, like, explain to her mom, like, oh, this is what I've been working on. And Reba just gives off unimpressed vibes, you know? She's like, oh, that's great. That's wonderful. And I halfway expected her to be like, oh, is that it? Like, because there was only 4 pieces or something. And Sutton says, yeah, but this is really intense work. There's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes. Something about, I don't know, you have to scan a tag and it goes to London and blah, 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 but it's manufactured elsewhere. And she says,
Houston.
oh, that reminds me of ground beef. You know, ground beef, they say it's manufactured in Texas, but it's not. It's actually manufactured in Cuba. And Sutton's just like, uh, okay, like,
You're missing the point.
objection, Your Honor, relevance? Like what? Yeah. I don't know. So I think she, was trying to keep her cool, but I can totally understand why she would be frustrated with. She's trying to share this with her mom, and her mom is just not taking it in. And that's got to be tough.
Yeah, we also see Reba pour, vodka over ice at, like, what time is this? I'm not sure. I think it's brunch, which, hey, I love a brunch cocktail, but just gonna call that out. We also, Sutton, so finally, she kind of works up the courage to ask what she has been wanting to ask forever. She asks her, like, why don't you say that you're proud of me? Why don't you say you love me? Why don't you say these things? And Reba's response is, well, I don't feel like I need to say those things. And I thought that she was going to say, I feel like I don't need to because it's obvious. Of course, I'm proud of you. Of course, I love you.
Right.
But instead, she's like, it's trite. It's inconsequential. Those words are overused. They don't mean anything anymore. And it's like, what? Like, in what world do you say that saying I love you to somebody and your own daughter is inconsequential?
Right.
Especially when she is facing you and asking you specifically to say this to her. Like,
Yeah.
once again, somebody showing no empathy and having no care for somebody in front of them as a therapist. I don't know. It's like, I keep, like, trying to find situations where, like, okay, maybe this makes sense, but it really just doesn't make sense to me. And then she's like, and then she goes to toot her own horn and is like, well, I was a professional working woman, so you're just trying to be like me. Ha ha ha. Like, what? Like, she's not, none of this seems to be getting through her head. And I got frustrated. I can't imagine how frustrated Sutton was, but she can't blow up or lose her cool because I think that will set Reba off even more.
Right. And then Reba shares that when she was growing up, it was post World War II, times were very tough and things were very different. And she didn't get a lot of praise. She was never told she was pretty. She probably was never told, I love you. And I feel like when you grow up a certain way, then when you become a parent, you either make a choice to do the same thing, or you recognize, what, I needed those things, and you, like, make a promise to yourself and your children that, like, you're going to do the opposite of what you had because you want to make it better for them. And I think she went the former way, and she was like, well, I didn't have those things and I turned out fine, so that's what I'm going to do. That's what I know. And but it's tough. Yeah, when someone is sitting there telling you, Mom, you might think these words are trite, but I need to hear them. It's not trite to me. Like, then you need to recognize, oh, okay, then of course I'm proud of you. Of course I love you. I'm sorry I don't say it. I should say it, and I will start saying that. But no, she didn't do that. But Sutton still felt like the conversation went well. We see Kyle and Garcelle listening behind the door frame, and it was such a, like, Disney Channel moment with, like, the kids, like, popping out their heads, like, layered on top of each other, trying to listen in. And then when Sutton, like, finally goes to get them, they just start scattering, and it's so obvious they were all listening right there. Kyle runs up halfway up the stairs. The other two are just like a few steps away, like, oh, hey, Sutton, where have you been?
That was the comedic moment that we needed to end this very, very emotional episode. I loved it so much. Yeah, and I guess the resolution is that Reba is going to fly to LA for Sutton's fashion show. Like, I think that at this point, like, they just need to meet in the middle, right? I don't think Sutton is going to get exactly what she wants. Reba's not going to give her exactly what she wants. So I think that Sutton is just going to like take whatever she can get. And this, like, her coming to see the show is a step forward. And I think seeing it come to life in this way might trigger something for Reba and be like, wow, this is a real thing. This is big. I need to be proud of my daughter. So I don't know. I think Sutton is happy with the resolution. I'm not sure I would be, because it doesn't really seem like things are going to get better, but
yeah,
I don't know. She says, I want to do better. And Reba says, we can do better. So we'll see. We'll see. I am interested to see how this progresses and if things actually really do get better.
And then can I just call to light the juxtaposition of when she told Garcelle. First of all, Garcelle was like, are you okay? And she said, yeah, no, I think it went really well. And she's like, oh, thank goodness. I'm so proud of you. And like gave her a big hug. And it was like, that's what she needs from her mother, like and that was just genuinely coming from a friend who loves her and wants what's best for her. And it's like, that is not trite. Like, Reba, tell me how that's trite. Like, she was genuinely saying, I am so proud of you for doing this, for having this tough conversation. So
no, you're so right.
Yeah, I really noticed like the difference there. And yeah.
Yeah, but I think Kyle said it best earlier in the episode. It's like, she's 80 something years old. She's not going to change. You can't expect her to change, but you just want to say your piece. So I hope that Sutton at least feels better getting this off her chest. So there's that. I don't know. It was definitely an emotional episode. I know we see the fashion show later on in the season. Will Reba show up? Will she? Won't she? I don't know. It's kind of like a cliffhanger. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But we've got more Beverly Hills to come, and I don't know. We're going to see a lot more between Dorit and PK. And yeah, so I don't know, guys. I'm excited.
Yes, make sure you tune in every week. We will be recapping Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and maybe some Summer House, maybe some Southern Charm coming up. So stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed, and we will talk to you guys later.
See you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.